What if the perfect city already lives inside you, not of stone, not of power, but of virtue? For centuries, dreamers searched for it. Plato called it a republic. Al-Farabi called it the city of virtue. But what kind of city is that? And why does it still haunt us today? We all know cities as noise, as endless markets of desire, as walls pressed with struggle. They are built of stone and sweat, of ambition and survival. But for philosophers, the city has always been something far greater. It is the mirror of the soul. Its laws reflect our values, its streets echo our desires, its injustices expose our failures. To ask what a city is to ask what it means to be human. Socrates died asking that very question. Can a city ever be just? And when Athens, the proud birthplace of reason, condemned its wisest man to death, the wound cut deep. If even the city of philosophy could not bear the weight of truth, then what hope do the rest of us have? And yet, centuries later, in the luminous expanse of the Islamic Golden Age, a new voice rose from the crossroads of civilizations. Al-Farabi. Where others saw cities as arenas of power, he dared to imagine something radical. A city ruled not by force, but by wisdom. A city where politics was not domination, but cultivation. Where leaders were not tyrants, but teachers, guiding citizens toward the highest good. It was a vision, as daring as it was fragile. Could such a city ever survive in the real world, where greed whispers louder than virtue, and where power so often silences wisdom? Or was Al-Farabi offering not a blueprint for stone, but a horizon for the soul? Al-Farabi described his Madīna al-Fadila, the virtuous city, not merely streets and walls, but a living organism where harmony bound each part to the whole. Every person had a role, not by accident, but by design. Every act had a purpose, woven into the fabric of the common good. At its radiant center stood the philosopher-ruler, not a king of conquest, but a guardian of truth. A leader whose knowledge was not confined to words on a page, but who had tasted wisdom that reached beyond time, touching the eternal. For Al-Farabi, such a ruler was like the sun, illuminating without exhausting itself, giving life without asking in return. And yet, the question lingers like a shadow. Can wisdom truly rule? Can the fragile thread of insight hold against the iron weight of power? History whispers otherwise. Power has a gravity of its own. It tempts, it corrodes, it bends even noble visions into chains. Was Al-Farabi's dream a map for real cities, or a mirror for our inner longing? Perhaps the virtuous city was never meant as stone and mortar, but as a challenge, to ask whether humanity can ever be governed by its highest self, or whether we are forever fated to bow before power disguised as truth. Al-Farabi's city was not built from nothing. It rose from a lineage of thought. He stood on the shoulders of Plato, who dreamed of the Republic, and Aristotle, who charted the map of ethics. Yet Al-Farabi did not merely inherit their visions, he transplanted them into new soil. He asked, could the lofty ideals of Athens survive the desert winds of history? Could they take root in the bustling heart of Baghdad, where merchants bargained, poets sang, and rulers played their dangerous games of power? For him, happiness was not the fleeting intoxication of wealth or pleasure. It was something rarer, harder, the harmony of the soul, in step with the harmony of society. A city was not simply walls and streets. It was a school of the spirit, a training ground where ordinary lives could be shaped into virtue. But then comes the dilemma that never sleeps. Who decides what virtue truly is? Is it the philosopher's reason, the ruler's decree, the poet's vision, or the crowd's restless demand? And when those voices clash, as they always do, what happens to the dream of harmony? Does the city unite, or does it fracture into tribes of competing truths? Not everyone welcomed Al-Farabi's dream. To some it seemed too fragile, too abstract to withstand the weight of human frailty. Al-Ghazali, with piercing conviction, warned that philosophy might dazzle the mind, yet blind the soul, that reason, in its pride, could eclipse the light of revelation. Others looked not to heaven but to earth, and argued that cities were built not on virtue, but on ambition, greed, and fear. They saw power as the true architect of history, not wisdom. And here lies the paradox that cuts to the bone. If humans are flawed, how can a city ever be virtuous? If envy and desire shape our every choice, what hope has the city to rise above them? But turn the question around and another abyss opens. If the city itself is corrupt, how can human beings ever grow into virtue? Does the broken city poison the soul? Or can the soul, in rare defiance, redeem the city? Al-Farabi never built his city in stone. No walls rose, no gates swung open, yet he planted it in minds, like a seed that outlives its sower. His vision passed into the thought of Ibn Sina, who imagined the soul's ascent, into Ibn Rushd, who fought for reasons placed beside faith, and later into the very currents of political philosophy in the West. The virtuous city was never a blueprint. For masons and rulers, it was a riddle, a provocation, a mirror. It became a question more than an answer, a compass more than a map. And isn't that the point? That the dream itself sustains us? Perhaps the city of virtue can never be built in full. But in striving toward it, in arguing, doubting, reshaping, we draw nearer to justice. The city may remain a horizon we never reach, but the walk toward it is what makes us human. Maybe the perfect city was never meant for earth and stone. Maybe it's a horizon, unreachable, but guiding us. Al-Farabi's voice still whispers, "Build not with towers, but with virtue. Build not with fear, but with wisdom. Build the city first within yourself." And that leaves us with a question. In your city, your life, your relationships, who rules wisdom or power? If Al-Farabi's city still feels alive, it's because the question never died. What kind of world do we build when we choose virtue over power? Let me know what you think. Where does true knowledge and true justice begin? And if this journey moved you, join me for the next one, because the whispers of the past still shape the cities of tomorrow.